Well, my wife and I just came back from Las Vegas. Well, we go there a couple times a year. And I think I told you before, I'm not a gambler. I have not put any money in the slot machine for, 20 some odd years now. At that one time I did put almost $20 in. But other than that, no. But what I noticed this trip, especially now that I started this Ishizukuri concept last year, I noticed that there was a lot of places that sell gems and rocks. Okay, this is the store where I bought the things last year for my grandkids and me. I went back and made some more purchases. Well, these are the rocks that I found and I purchased. I bought a few extra for my grandkids who are into rocks too. Well, the older Kai, he's more of a gem collector, and Mia, she likes to collect shiny rocks. So anyway, these are the rocks that I bought, and evidently all these rocks have some meanings, and I plan to incorporate them in my future Ishizukuri. Well, anyway, the trend that I thought I saw in Vegas was there's an awful lot of shops that's selling these stones and some artwork using the stone. And I'm wondering, is it a coincidence that I started and then all of a sudden in Vegas, I see them all over the place? Well, here's one. And then here's another one, and another one. What I saw was a lot of shops. Actually, I went into almost every single one, and I was looking around. But one thing I noticed that every one of the shops seemed to have the same merchandise. So I'm coming to the conclusion that there is one big suppliers that's supplying all these shops. Okay, so what's this got to do with my Ishizukuri? Well, I'm thinking the same thing in terms of stones for comfort, inspiration, and things like that. So my approach is definitely not the typical commercial because I have not made two of the same kind yet. Over here, you can see some of the samples. Now, you can see two with the writing. The one in the center, the small one, it says Bonjin, which is the god of bonsai. So if you have a bonsai collection and you need a little assistance from the deities, this might be a way to go. In the back, it says Bonsai no Tanoshimi. Bonsai, of course, and Tanoshimi is the enjoyment of the bonsai art. And then in the back, I did the pictograph combined with the lantern. And I don't know if you could see it, the little writing there, it says Zen. Hopefully it's a very calming look for you. That's what I was going for. The waterfall in the back, whimsical, maybe a weeping willow or something in the foreground, and then the lantern. The story behind this big painting is I made this about 20 some odd years ago when I was on this painting on anything and everything kick. Unfortunately, I didn't know what to do after I got done because the slab will not stand, and so it sat in storage for 20 some odd years. And then I came up with this Ishizukuri concept where I built the base, very natural looking base, right? And I think it's getting people's attention. So if you have a bonsai collection and you want something that is nice in the background, this should be it. This method works well for outdoors because it's rock and mortared in, right? There's another version of, so in the background, that's another version that I did, and then I combined it. So I just had the rock painting, and then I found the base, and then for this one, usually I try to keep it natural, but because the background is such that I painted the foreground too with a little Japanese lantern. And here's another version of the bonjin. Anyway, I thought I'd share with you what I saw in Vegas on this trip. So I see that more and more people are buying. Well, I assume they're buying because they're setting up these shops in a very high rent area. So I am assuming that they're selling a lot of it. So I think it's basically after the pandemic, people started to think internally. So they're looking for things much more personal. And so the Ishizukuri was my attempt. And evidently, the timing seems like quite a coincidence. But I'm happy that I think people are starting to look for something like this. Now, I have a marketing problem in that I have all these great products. Remember I told you I made 1,000 of these? So I have 1,000 plus. And now I got to figure out how I am going to get this to the general public. Definitely, I am not opening up a shop in Las Vegas. Las Vegas, I love to visit for 3-4 days and I'm out of there. So anyway, yeah, well, because I live in this country with all this tranquility, I like to get away where it's hustle and bustle. But after 4 or 5 days, it's like, oh, got to get out of here. And then we'll do all again in another 6 months or so. Okay, so anyway, this is Hiro giving you some insight on where our stones and the rocks and the art form are going in the future.